My name is Ana Luíza, and I have always been a teacher. From a very young age, I knew that education would be my passion. I loved being in the classroom, seeing the sparkle in my students' eyes when they managed to understand something new. But over time, I realized that something was missing. I wanted to go beyond. I wanted to reach more people, impact more lives. I felt that, as a teacher, I was limited to the space of the classroom, and that unsettled me. I started thinking about a way to take education further to reach more people. That's when the idea of an online teaching platform came to me. First, it seemed like something impossible. I knew nothing about technology, let alone how to build a platform. Fear was the first obstacle, fear of failing, of investing time and money in something that might not work. But then I remembered something I always told my students. Mistakes are part of the process. Learning is about failing and trying again. I applied that to myself. I decided that fear would not paralyze me. So I started studying. I spent days and nights learning everything I could about creating an online platform. It wasn't quick. It was a long, exhausting process, but every little piece of knowledge I gained gave me more confidence. The first few months were tough. I made a lot of mistakes, many in fact. The site crashed, the content didn't get the response I expected, and the platform had very few users in the beginning. I began to question myself. Was I on the right path? Was my vision even possible? But something inside me told me I couldn't give up. So I kept adjusting, fixing mistakes, and listening to the students who gave me feedback. Every adjustment felt like a small step closer to what I wanted to achieve. That's when the first changes began to appear. Slowly, the number of students started to grow. They were enjoying what they were learning, the platform's format, and I began receiving messages of gratitude from people who were learning differently and more effectively. I realized that what I was doing wasn't just an idea but something that was truly making a difference in people's lives. And that's when I saw the results. It didn't happen overnight, but the impact grew over time. Today, the platform is more robust, with thousands of students and a community that inspires me every day. I am no longer the same person who started this journey with fear and doubt. Now I see that challenges are part of my growth, and that every mistake brought me something valuable. Looking back at what I've achieved fills me with gratitude, because I know none of this would have happened if I had given up halfway through. The process was long and arduous, but it brought me to where I am today. And I am grateful for every step of this journey. I remember the moment I started seeing the first results. When students began interacting with the platform, giving honest feedback, and showing that they were truly learning, that's when I realized I was on the right track. I still had many fears and doubts, but the impact of those small victories gave me the strength to keep going. Every thank you message I received, every compliment about the content and how useful the platform was, made me believe that, despite all the obstacles, I was doing something worthwhile. But it wasn't always easy. With every new phase came new challenges. Learning to manage an educational platform wasn't just about teaching. It was also about dealing with technology, finances, and most importantly, finding ways to stay motivated, even on days when nothing seemed to go right. I came to understand that success doesn't come from a single big action, but from a collection of small choices and adjustments that, over time, turn into significant results. It was at that moment I began to see the true importance of having a clear vision of what you want to achieve, while remaining open to necessary changes along the way. What I initially planned wasn't exactly what the platform became, but it turned out better, more aligned with the needs of my students and what I wanted to offer them. I also learned to be more patient. At first, I wanted everything to happen quickly, but time showed me that some things need room to grow. Each phase had its own time and importance. There's no use rushing the process because learning, both for the students and for me, happens at its own pace. I dedicated myself to understanding what my students truly needed, and that helped me create content with an even greater impact. Today, I see the platform not just as a product I created but as a true tool for transformation. It has evolved just as I have. And most importantly, it's still growing. Every day, I'm surprised by the stories of my students and how they use what they've learned to change their lives and achieve new dreams. Of course, there are moments when exhaustion is overwhelming, and the fear of failure still appears from time to time. But now, with everything I've experienced, I know that the journey is never linear. Success isn't something you achieve all at once. It's built throughout the entire process. And even when it feels difficult, I know that this journey is what transforms me and keeps me moving forward. In the moments when things seem to stabilize, something unexpected would happen. New challenges would arise, and I realized that growth was never a final destination but a constant journey. When the platform began to gain more visibility and attract more students, I understood how enormous the responsibility I carried truly was. It was no longer just about me. It was about everyone who trusted in my vision, my platform, and my commitment to helping them learn in a meaningful way. I remember one particular night when a student sent me a message. She shared how, thanks to the content on the platform, she was able to change her career and finally began to believe she could achieve her goals. When I read those words, something inside me shifted. It wasn't just about creating a teaching tool, it was about building a bridge between knowledge and the people who needed it. I felt more connected to my purpose than ever before. Of course, the growth process wasn't made of successes alone. There were moments when I had to make difficult choices, like when finances were tight, and the platform's future was at risk. That feeling of insecurity, of not knowing if all the effort would be worth it, often haunted me. But when I looked at the results I had already achieved, I realized that the struggle was necessary. Without overcoming obstacles, the results wouldn't carry the same value. I learned to celebrate the small victories, to find reasons to be grateful every day, even when exhaustion seemed to consume me. The process of building something so significant, something that went beyond just a simple platform, taught me the importance of persistence, even when the results weren't immediate. I was no longer just seeking visible and quick success. I wanted something more enduring, something that would have a real impact on people's lives, something genuine and meaningful. Today, as I look at everything I've accomplished, I can say that every challenge, every mistake, and every success was worth it. I know the journey isn't over yet. I have more dreams, more plans, more goals to achieve. And more than anything, I know that the process of creating, learning, and evolving is what truly matters. Because in the end, it's not the results that define who we are. It's the choices we make, the steps we take, and the heart with which we move forward, always in search of what truly drives us. If there's one thing I've learned throughout this journey, it's that financial life is often a reflection of what we believe is possible for ourselves. I know that when I started, the fear of failing was just as big as the desire to succeed. Finances were always a constant worry for me, and many times I felt lost, as if I were swimming against the current. I know what it's like to look at your bank account and feel like everything is out of control. I know what it's like to work nonstop and still feel like the results are never enough. And that's exactly why I want to talk to you. Because when we're in that place, it's easy to feel incapable, powerless. But let me tell you one thing with absolute certainty. It's not the end of the line. What truly matters isn't where you are now, but where you're willing to go. The first thing I did was understand that my mindset needed to change. I began to realize that I had to believe in what I could achieve financially, even before I saw the results. I started studying, diving deep into what really mattered, and focusing on the small actions that could take me further. The secret isn't in the size of the step, but in the direction you choose to take. If you're feeling discouraged, I completely understand. But let me give you a tip. Take small steps every day. Don't think you need to change everything at once. Start with what you can control. If it's debt, begin with the first payment. If it's a project, start with the planning. Real change happens when you decide to act, even when things seem out of place. I know the path can be difficult and often lonely, but trust me, persistence is more powerful than any obstacle. If you keep dedicating yourself, learning from your mistakes, and adapting, the results will begin to show. And when they do, you'll realize it was all worth it. Because the true value isn't just in what you achieve financially, but in what you learn about yourself along the way. I've been where you are. I've gone through moments of despair and uncertainty, but I can guarantee that if you stay firm, you'll get to where you want to be. And don't forget, the journey might be tough, but it's made up of choices, and the choice not to give up is always the most powerful one. I could keep talking about everything I've learned, but the most important thing is that you, the one listening, understand this: your path is unique. No one will walk it for you. But the journey is just as transformative as the results you're striving for. I'm here to remind you of something simple but powerful. There's always a possibility to turn things around, no matter what situation you're in right now. I know you're searching for more. More learning, more motivation, more strength to move forward. And if you've made it this far, it's because you're ready to take the next step, to take risks, to believe that you can go further. Every small action, every choice, is a step toward the change you want to see in your life. So if you're ready to start transforming your path, to seek more inspiration, and to achieve what you desire, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. Here you'll find content that will help you better understand your journey, push you to the next level, and of course, give you the motivation you need to stay strong. It doesn't matter where you are right now. What matters is what you're going to do with your next step. So, click subscribe and let's begin this journey of transformation. Success is closer than you think, and it starts the moment you decide to take action. Let's take this step together.